All right. Hello, hello. Hopefully everyone can see me and hear me okay. Got the new headset finally, or a replacement headset. Unfortunately, it's not the same quality as the one before. Supposedly it's like their modern version of it, but not as good in my opinion. So, same brand, same company, but yeah, don't like it as much. So I don't know. May try something else. So anyway, let me know you can hear me and see me okay. So let's jump in. All right, so let's go out to GitHub. And there's a couple things I want to do today. So just a quick high-level overview while some people are joining. First of all, there's two pull requests that were opened up by, I guess, what was their name? I missed it. Anyways, we'll get in there and take a look. But there's two of these in here, and what's nice about these is they're kind of just some refactors. So a member of the community jumped out there and said, "Hey, I want to do all this other stuff and like help refactor this, and I've been watching your live stream, so let me know what to go look at." So I gave him a couple things to check out, and here we go. So we'll get these two merged and just kind of review them. I've taken a look at them already, but we'll pull them down and run the tests and kind of see what was changed. And then I'd like to jump in and do two things. First, this is a real tiny little paper cut that I kind of reviewed these as well. So I'd like to actually do these two. So I want to start with this one. Should be pretty quick. Nice little enhancement slash refactor. That's kind of been waiting out there. And then I've really been wanting to do this for a while. I wanted to refactor the faker generation stuff to like a separate package. I think other things could use that. So this is like all the logic around like, oh, this thing's an email, or this field name is email, and this means like it's going to use faker email. So just that registry, I think, has some value for other packages. Like there's other generator packages out there, there's other tests, libraries out there that could really benefit from having that. And then on top of which, having it shared means that more people can easily contribute. It would be very easy to go in and add an additional column name and say, oh, if you have a column named this, you likely want this kind of faker data. And it'd just be real easy to manage that separately. So I want to break it out not only for reuse, but also for easier contribution from the community. So I'm going to mark both of these as in progress, so we'll come back to these here in just a minute. So that should mark those two as in progress. No, it did not. Let's try that again. So check those two and yeah, in progress. What's going on there? Let's refresh. Oh, there we go. Okay, so even though it refreshed, it didn't add the little tags there. So little bug in GitHub. So yeah, we'll work on those two next. Okay, so let's go take a look at this. So this one's pretty straightforward. They abstracted kind of the statement generator class, which they can extend, and then it shares some of these methods. So this is kind of a step in the direction, again, of just kind of cleaning up. But what I noticed that was kind of interesting, or what I like to see, and this is kind of a joke sometimes on Twitter, is like the hallmark of a good developer or like a senior developer is someone who like deletes more code than they add. So this is pretty cool because it actually is, in my opinion, a good measurement of a refactor because it's an example of the fact that, look, we moved roughly two times more of the lines than we added by abstracting this class. So whether inheritance is the right design pattern here or not is not so big of a deal to me at the moment, as much as it was a step in the right direction of removing code. Now again, refactoring code doesn't always mean removing code, but I think, again, this is a nice step in the direction. So if someone was like, oh, I refactored all this stuff and I went in here and this was like, 283 lines and they didn't remove anything, it's kind of like, we added a lot of code. Like, I would really look at it. So anyway, I think this is good. So let's just squash merge this and just kind of clean up some of the naming there. And we'll bring that in. All right, cool. Let's check out this other PR, and then we'll pull both of these down at the same time and look at them. So, okay, so let's make sure we don't have any conflicts here. I think there was some stylistic issues here, which we'll clean up as we do other refactors, or style CI will do it automatically for my pull requests. So no big deal there. Now this actually had a lot of changes, and again, to the point we were making just a second ago, it's basically even. Now, given the type of refactor here, this abstraction to a tree class, I kind of would expect it to be an even trade. But what's nice about this is moving forward, this tree class is going to be a little bit better than an array. It's going to be an object, so we're going to be able to easily add methods to it. And for those that have watched these live streams before, the biggest one that you all have probably heard me complain about in the different generators is this model for context. And that was the key motivation for moving things to this, is basically this tree object. So now not only do we have all this stuff in a tree instead of just this raw array that we pass to the generators, but things like asking for models, asking for context, asking for other things that are in the tree or scanning it can now potentially be moved moving forward to this object. So really nice refactor here. This was a good one I wanted to do, but again, thank you to the community and the contributors for picking this up. So we can see basically, as I've said before, all these things had some kind of, model for context, register model type of method that they were doing. So yeah, again, model for context, model for context. So I knew this going into it. I lived with it. I kind of felt the pain of it. And like I said, I had been complaining about it, but now we have this tree object. So this one's a pretty nice one. So all the tests are passing here, minus the style CI, which again, no big deal there. No reason to not merge it. So let's just clean that up and confirm it. And just to make sure these two together work, I'm not going to tag this just yet, but let's do get pull master, or whoops, get pull origin master. Should pull everything down. I'm just going to go ahead and run composer update because I do feel like it's been a little bit of a while, so that might take just a second. Drayman, is there good first issue tag? Might help to pull some newcomers. Yes, while we're waiting on composer, there aren't any good first issues currently. But yes, I do try to mark things with good first issue. Unfortunately, there's not anything currently. Some of this stuff's pretty high level. Pretty high level. Yeah, so we have, migrations, composite indexes, aliasing things. I wouldn't say this is hard, but it's probably not a good first issue. So yeah, just not anything out there at the moment, but I do try to use that tag. Okay, cool. Composer ran, all good, so nothing really to change there. So let's do vendor bin PHP unit and make sure everything's passing, and we are. Great. Okay, so again, I feel like these are successful refactors. Again, we'll let style CI clean up a bit later. So let's jump into the issues now. Let's take these in progress issues. So this is one that multiple people have mentioned, and again, on a previous bit, I kind of, this kind of gets into the debate of like fillable versus guarded versus, using validated in this, and kind of like I talked about in this comment here, basically like, I just feel like mass assignment needs to be like revisited. I wish that, I wish that it just kind of behaved a little different. And I've actually spoken with Taylor about this, and I think he has some ideas that he might be trying out for Laravel 8, if not maybe Laravel 9, not sure, because it would be a kind of a big change in fairness. But anyway, all that is to say, I do think we can be a little bit better about when we use validated, because it's probably a good practice, or not probably, it is a good practice. I think what I would like to do is what I said here, revisit this to use request validated when we know that there's a validate statement. So basically, if we're trying to save something and we know you had validate before that, then instead of saying like request all or something, I think it's fair in those cases to use request validated. So again, kind of like I said here though, Blueprint does try to be fillable. So it's just one of those things where like there might be other things in the request than what were validated. Again, I don't know how you're using the code, but I think that validated is probably a better approach in those very specific cases. So let's do that. I'm hearing some chat. Let's check it out. Would you accept a PR to generate pest tests? Yoast. Yes, Yoast already got you on that one. There is a package, and honestly, if I haven't, I need to add that to the Blueprint docs. I don't know. Yeah, I don't think it's in here, but I do think in the contributing section, extending. Yeah, I've got the Blueprint Nova add-on. I don't have the one for pest. So I need to have I need to add a section here of like Blueprint add-ons, or maybe even just a full-on section where I start listing them. Because I know there's a couple. I know Blueprint's one. I know Nova's one. I know Pest is one. Yoast, I think you made something that maybe generates PHP unit tests, but in more of a Yoast way. So yeah, so I need to list those. So feel free to open an issue for that if you want. But yeah, I'm not going to change the internal test to Pest or anything yet. Down the road when Pest gains a little more traction. Cool. Okay, so let's do this. Git checkout -b, and what was that issue? 125. Kind of old. This will be fix 125, and let's open up PHP Storm. Hopefully that's the right version. Maybe not. Blueprint. And what I'm going to do to start is kind of like we talked about last time. I'm just going to start by looking up request all. I just want to find anywhere that's doing this. So let's just open these. And let's kind of just take a look at, so the eloquent statement is the statement that uses this. So this is what we're going to be adjusting. But again, there's two approaches. I could change this to validated and kind of watch everything break, or I can do it the other way and only change the ones that matter. So let's do that. And the interesting thing is, I bet you most of these README examples, all use validated. So we might have to write an example where there's not the validated bit. So let's just go through these one by one. And I've complained about this before too, and I'm going to complain about it one last time, and then I'm going to fix it off stream. I really wish that these names lined up with the Blueprint file that's being used, because it really makes it kind of hard to go in and see what's what otherwise. So some of these are close, some of these are not. So I need to go in and like do that, but that's like a really annoying refactor that would not make for a good stream. I'm going to close the chat for a second because it's kind of in the way. So I'll go back and check it in a minute. Okay, so let's go through here and take a look at these examples. So drafts. And let's just start with this README example. It'll be easy enough. So where is it? README example. Here we go. And we do have validate, and we have save. So let's make this happen. So where are we using README YAML? Probably in a bunch of places, but we know we already have a controller for the README example. So here we go. This is what we want, and our goal would be validated. So we know because there's a validate statement above save, in this case, that we will use request validated instead. So let's go make this happen. So we've changed our test, which means we should have a failure. We have an exception because it's mockery. Mockery throws an exception when the expectations are not met. So let's just hone this down because it's going to be a lot of these. So vendor bin, there we go. Okay, so we got request all. Of course, we expect request validated. So the easiest thing to do would be validated. And now we should flip and get a bunch of other errors. So that's not going to be the full-on solution. But the reason I'm going to be kind of a jerk about this is because I want to drive out the fact that we probably need to make a draft file where validated is not above it. Because right now there's nothing driving me to write that if check. So let's take a look about that. So we see that we have a form request here, so we know that validated is going to be good there. Let's just go through these one by one now. So same thing here. Validated should be good there. Again, have a form request, which we know if Blueprint's generating that, then we are using validation. Ditto. Whoops, validated. Let's just copy this so I don't have to keep typing it. Nested components. README example. And then what's this? And then yeah, this probably is going to generate that as well. So they all pass. They all pass. So theoretically this would work, but we know that the validate statement really shouldn't be used all the time. So to that point, let's start at the really, really low level and actually work inside out in this case, because we kind of started at the top with the fixtures. We demonstrated that those all work the way we want, but in this case, we actually probably want to change this just a little bit. So what I want to do is say something like output generates code for save using create, and make this all, and then have something to the effect of output generates code for save using create when validation is used. And so we'll do something here like true, and that's going to represent the fact that we are using validation, and that's when I would want to use validated. So let's go update this, or well, let's see it fail, shall we? Okay, so we're going to have a couple different issues here. First of all, anywhere else in the code is going to fail because we don't have that additional argument, and then of course this is going to fail because we're always returning validated now. So let's go try to clean this up. And in fairness, let's just run the unit tests, because once we clean this up, it's going to flip-flop, and all the other ones are probably going to start failing now. So let's go to the output statement. Oh, look at that. We already have using validation. Look at us go. See? I knew I wanted to pick this one up. Okay, cool. So that means we can kind of do something like we're doing down here, which is effectively if it's store, that's interesting. Well, let's just keep going for a second, but it does make me wonder. So if using validation, then the code is going to get that, else the code, and we can tidy this up in a minute. Sometimes I don't like these branches, but let's just make it happen. Okay, cool. Output generates code for for save using create when validation is used. Must be of type array. Oh, I think I gave that to the wrong thing. Where's our test? Come back to us, test. There it is. Yes, I did that the wrong way. My bad. That should be here. All right, there we go. And now, that's interesting that works. Oh, you know what? That using validation was already in place because of the form request stuff we built last time. So this actually already works. That was super easy. Let's just go prove that real quick. Controller generator. And I think we had some like little variable that we were tracking last time, if I remember correctly. some kind of like using validation. And if we take a look at let's close this other noise real quick. Here we go. So if we take a look at where this is used, we set it to true if you have validate, which means since we're looping over these, that means by the time you get down to the eloquent statement here, if that is true using validation, then we know there was a validate statement before the eloquent statement, which means we can use validated. So this all just works. Awesome. Cool. So let's add this up and call it done. Git add -p. Cool. So that looks good. Good. Good on the validated. All this stuff. This is all the tests that were changed, so that's fine. We can trust that those are good changes. No new files, so git commit -m. Use request validated when validation statement, or with validation statement. Validate. I think that's what we call it, right? Validate, yeah. So, sorry, I'm thinking, part of me still wants to make a very quick draft YAML file for like maybe when there's no validation. I don't think it would be that hard to do this, so let's just do it real quick. So let's say something like save without validation. And we can leave this post thing alone, that's fine, and let's just break it back down to store so we know we hit what we want, and we'll just do something like save and redirect, so it's like super simple output. And let's go to our controller generator tests, and we should just be able to add this to our examples. And instead, we called this save without validation, but not an underscore. So that means I need a controller. So let's go do this. So we copied it off of the README example, so let's just do the same thing. Save without validation. And let's cut that. And this will just be request. And the expectation here is that this will just be request all. And then none of that. So we should just get redirected. And this should actually be an illuminate request as the type int. Cool. And we shouldn't need any of this stuff because we're not doing that. So it should just be app post and app request. All right, let's see this happen. Although it might just pass, but yeah, I'm actually glad to see a failure. Let's check this out. Output writes migration for controller tree. Save without validation. Ooh, that's interesting. What's wrong with this? Analyze must be of type array. Did I do something wrong in my blueprint file? Probably. Let's go take a look at this. What did I break here? I heard something in the chat. Did somebody see something I don't? Save post. Interesting. What is this? Line 70. Output writes migration for controller tree. It definitely doesn't like something. Argument 1 passed to blueprint. Statement lexer analyze must be of type array. String given. Well, let's go debugging, shall we? So let's go to line 46. And let's just output kind of what we're getting here. So let's just dump the tokens here. And then I want to go back to my test and limit it to just this so we don't get a bunch of noise. let's see what's going wrong here. Filter equals. What is wrong with you? You're an array. Okay. Argument 1 passed to analyze. So let's go back. Tokens look good, so it's not that. 46 is analyze. What's body? So definition. So let's dump definition. Something's wrong here. Save post.index. Okay. And it's saying it expects an array. Why would it expect an array? Definition as method. Definition as method body. So the method should be store, but it's saying it's save. What did I miss here? Oh. I must have killed post somehow. I knew I messed up something stupid. Because it was like, clearly it worked before all that. You gotta question everything when it happens like that. I kind of thought it was the draft YAML file, but yeah, I missed that little indentation level there. Okay, so let's undo that and run everything again. And we're all passing, which makes sense because we didn't really expect to have to change anything. It just gives us just a little bit more coverage from a top level bit. And again, demonstrating that I want to break these YAML files down to be like very smaller units of stuff. They've kind of grown to a place where some of them test a lot of things, which I'm fine with for like the README example, but some of this other stuff I want to start testing more microscopic things. So let's do a git add -p just to make sure I didn't leave any dumps in there. So yes, we changed that, and then everything else should be a new file, which makes sense. So tests, and now we'll get append, which is just a little shorthand to commit that, and then we'll get push origin head, and let's drop that in there. And git open that. Let's go ahead and merge it. Oh, let's of course compare the pull requests first. And then, oh, okay, see, style CI I picked that. You know, it's kind of funny, style CI, like I've yet to narrow down the configuration where like it kind of does it on the open PRs. I think I asked them on Twitter like how that works, and I think they said like maybe it's like a paid only option or something. I don't know. But anyway, it's got my fixes now, I guess. So did it just add these to mine? I don't know. Who knows? Let's do that. And we'll say, excuse me, sorry. Closes 125, I think. Pretty straightforward. So we'll make sure this all runs, which of course it should. And while it's doing that, let's go back and talk about, okay, so this one should be fixed. Let's talk about this. I basically want to split this up into its own. So maybe we could, to guess faker based on name, I created a type guesser class. What's this? Laravel factory prefill. Yeah, so see, here's an example. Like, they probably have, I guess to the point of their comment, like, they probably have this faker name guesser thing. There's already some stuff in faker, in fairness, so that's pretty cool. So yeah, like, there's all sorts of stuff that's kind of already out here, but this kind of emphasizes the point that, like, other packages, like this Laravel factory prefill, like this package could probably use this registry. So this is just something I've been wanting to do for a while. I mean, look, almost a year ago now. So let's just make this refactor real quick. In order to do that though, I'm gonna need to make a quick shift repo. So let me open up a new browser and let's log into GitHub as shift. So laravel shift, and I hope I know my password. I might not. We're gonna find out. I guess I don't. Crap. Okay, let's do this. Y'all are gonna watch my face for a second while I go log into this. So we're just gonna do full screen camera for me. Hello. So let me jump into my password manager here, even though you wouldn't be able to see the dots. Let's just, it's gonna 2FA and all sorts of stuff anyway, so let's just fix this. I check my phone and enter what needs to be entered. So this is, all right, that was not it apparently. Oh, wrong one. 55. Probably shouldn't say that out loud. There we go. Okay, we are in. All right, let me switch gears back here. We're gonna make a new repo. Let me bring my screen share back up. Oh yeah, thanks. So yeah, this is the kind of a nod to Oregon Trail, but it was for the Cascadia PHP conference. So they had some the first year. I didn't make it the first year. I made it the second year, but they had some left over, and I bought one off of them. I think it's funny. Like all of my T-shirts are like free conference, like, or like community shirts, like the Whip shirt or a couple Laravel shirts or whatever. When Jack McDade finishes his shirts, I'm definitely gonna buy a few of those. So anyway, cool. Let's make this. So what do we want to call this? This is like this is gonna be for generating faker. This is for generating faker data. So what do we want to call this? Definitely not reimagined system. I mean, I can rename it later, but faker registry? I don't know. What did we talk about? Faker name guesser? Here I called it registry. We'll just leave it there for now. Let's not worry about all the annoyances. And let's just we'll just initialize it with a readme. That's fine. And probably just a PHP. How does PHP not have a classic get ignore? Are you kidding me? That doesn't make any sense. Does Composer have one? Yeah. Okay, let's see what that gives me. Do it. Okay, so we got this. What's in get ignore? Composer far vendor. Interesting. Okay, fair enough. And then I need to add me as a contributor real fast. Or collaborator. Jason McCreary. That's me. Oh my gosh, my Papa JMac account's still out there. I need to close that. Yeah, let's do that. Add me. Cool. And I should have an invite, which, yeah, I'll bring that up here in just a sec. So I can probably close that, but just in case, let's leave it open just for another second and go back and check to see if our user request stuff has passed, which it has. So let's squash merge this. And that should finish it up. Cool. Delete that branch. No pull requests open. See, let's look at these commits just real fast. Yeah, see, what's interesting is it applied this and automatically merged it, and then it made another one. I think it just listens to like my stuff is what StyleCI does. I don't know. I haven't been able to figure that out. You think it would be a little more obvious, but whatever. I'll stop griping about it. Okay, let's close this down. And really all we're going to do right now is just take this package, move it, or take the stuff that we do with Faker, move it to this other package, and then make sure that Blueprint includes it. And then from there, the other package can grow smarter and better and do some of the other things that maybe are being mentioned by Norray here. So, okay, cool. So let's do that. Let's do get checkout master, get pull, get checkout dash B. I'll just call this faker registry. And what we're going to do is let's take a look at how we do faker in here. And we'll just start kind of piecing code out of it. So I'm pretty sure translators rules, was it? Where does it translate to faker? I thought it was in translators, but I guess not. Is it in generators? Maybe it's all just in the factory generator. I think it is. Yeah, I think it's basically just this class minus the factory generator stuff. So let's yeah, these are all static anyway. So let's do this. The first refactor will be to take this code and push it to the boundary, and I'll just throw it in like a translator for now. And then we'll basically take that a step farther by make sure all the tests pass, and then we'll take that a step farther by taking that translator, putting it into the other package, and then bringing over the appropriate tests. So, and then we can include it and do some fun stuff that way. So let's make this happen. And I'm sure there's probably a fancy way to do this with PHP Storm to abstract that, but I'm just going to do it by hand. Let's just do a new PHP file and call this, I'll just call it faker registry for now, but when we move it, we'll probably call it just registry or something along those lines. And let's do use, or well, namespace, of course, first. So let's namespace this as blueprint translators, and then we're going to have a class for faker registry, and it's just a static class. Whoops, static class. So let's close that down, and that should be all we need to do there. And now we should have, yeah, some of the self stuff is broken. So let's just kind of go down the line here. So stub, what's the next issue? I don't know why some of these are issues. Unqualified. Where's our here? Okay, so this is the main thing. So this faker data, which we were calling that way when we didn't need to, so now we can say faker registry. I hate when that happens in PHP Storm. Faker registry. Cool. Did we not import that? Oh, registry helps when you can spell. And then what else do we have? Is that it? I thought we had some self stuff in there. Oh, here we go. Let's just do this. All right, so it's just these two, and we'll do faker registry. And then I think, I did that again. Stree. All right, and then I think there was some self ones too. So self faker data types, yeah, okay. So let's fix these. So we'll do faker registry this time. There we go. Okay, and I think all of our tests should just still pass. Nope, just kidding. Totally broke it. Call to undefined method factory generator faker data. Who calls it? Who's calling that? Test generator test. Oh, well, it's actually the test generator class. Does it call it statically? That's interesting. Probably should have like found all references. This is why actually trying to probably use the PHP Storms refactor tool would have been the thing to do. So what we probably want to search for then is basically anywhere I'm using factory generator : fake. Yeah. So there are just a few of these in the generator that uses that instead. So no problem. Let's just replace those with, what do we call it? Faker registry, : fake. We'll replace all. And now, actually, those are still going to be broken because they're not going to have a full path anymore. So I can definitely use an undefined class to find those. There we go. Import. Nice. Okay, so now, still broken. Faker registry. I thought I imported you. Did I not? How did you not get imported correctly? Blueprint translators. Oh, I only did it on source. It's a test. It is also in tests. Arrgh. Crap. Which one fails? It is Faker generator test. Oh, because, of course, these probably go directly to that class. Yeah. Yeah. There we go. So let's just fix all of these. So this is just Faker. Oh, whoops. No, I have it right. I just need to import it. There we go. There we go. Much better. All right, I heard some chats. What are people saying? I didn't attend the live from the beginning. Hope the PRs got merged. Yes, Mohammed. All PRs are merged, and now we are working on splitting out these factory generator or faker registry to a separate package. So that was actually a little bit annoying, but probably a good exercise because it let us know how this other stuff worked. So we have, here's our test that we want to move to the other thing, and then now we should be able to move the faker registry to the other thing, and then go back and fix all these references yet again, and be able to have this work. So next step is going to be to basically go back up a directory, and let's go out to Laravel shift and pull down this new repository, this faker registry. So let's just, oops, SSH, let's clone that. So git clone boom. And let's do a, yeah, let's just go into that directory. And I think for now, first things first is let's just VI the composer, or well, we don't have a composer file. So we're going to need a composer file so this can be registered with packages. So let's do composer --init, or is it just composer init? It is just composer init. So this will be Laravel shift / faker registry. And the description is, what do I want to say here? I want to say something like a registry for determining or for generating faker data, or let's say something like, or well, faker data from a name or data type. How about that? Period. All right, the author is me, that's fine. Minimum stability doesn't really matter. It's a library, I guess. License is MIT, that's fine. And we actually don't have any dependencies, so I'll say no. And our dev dependency will probably just be PHP unit. Oh shit. That is actually, we can just say yes. And PHP unit. And 0 is fine. Enter the version constraint, that's fine. Latest version should be fine. Or well, we'll make it match what, yeah, we'll pump it down a little bit and make it match. So no reason to search for anything else, and yes, generate that. And no, don't install the dependencies just yet because we are going to change that just a bit. So let's go to composer.json and let's copy that. And I don't think we'll need mockery. Let's go ahead and bring this up. And what I'll want to do is go in here, and we've got this required dev, and that's kind of weird it put that up top. Let's move this down here. No requires. Well, you know what? We should probably require, or well, we don't require a minimum PHP version for that, so that's okay. And I'm sure if we wanted to be a little goofy, we could suggest faker, of course, but again, probably don't need it just for now. But what we will need is some auto loading. So let's do this. And this will just be, what do we want to call this? I guess just faker. Well, you know what? Let's just shift is fine. And tests are fine. Okay, and so to that point, let's do a make dir on source and a make dir on tests. And then let's run composer install. Oh, I broke something. What did I break? Auto load. Oh, there is no comma there. My bad. All right, we'll let that install. And while that's installing, I am going to bring up some windows side by side here. And just, instead of from the command line, we'll just do it from here. So where is Blueprint? Why isn't Blueprint higher up? There we go. And let's go to tests. And since it's just a unit test, I'm just going to copy this. I'm just going to copy that as is for now. We really don't need, we shouldn't need anything else because this test will extend PHP units test case directly, so that's fine. We probably don't even really need a PHP unit file, but I'm just going to bring it over for giggles. Whoops, for giggles. And in the source directory, we really are just going to have that registry file. So let's go back to translators and drop that back over here, and we'll rename that in just a sec. So here we are. Let's clean this up. So this is going to be tests, and you know what? There won't really be, well, I'll keep the unit bit just for giggles. So let's do a new folder, unit, and let's drop that in there. And then we won't need any of this stuff, and again, it just extends the test case. And we'll probably just want to call this registry for now. And there we go. There's our data provider. So let's go check out PHP unit. All this should be fine. We don't have any feature tests at the moment, and there's no such thing as the stubs path. So that should pack it down to what we need. And then finally, this will be called registry. And this should be called shift for now. I'll probably change that before I publish this on packages to like shift faker registry or something like that. But we'll namespace it just underneath kind of the brand for now. Okay, so let's see if everything installed, and it did. And let's try to run vendor bin PHP unit. And we get a lot of broken stuff. So tests unit registry. Okay, so I just didn't import that correctly. No problem. Let's fix that by saying use shift registry. And let's run this again. There is no shift registry, probably because I need to run composer dump autoload. Okay, a little better. Class shift registry not found. Shift registry. Okay, shift registry, registry. shift and source, PSR4 namespace. What is the issue here? Namespace. It's just top level in the source, so that should be fine. Oh, it is not PSR4 compliant. Let's fix that. Rename registry. There we go. Let's dump autoload one more time. There we are. Look at that. Beautiful. Okay, so this should be good enough. Again, not going to publish it yet until I clean up some of those package names and so forth, but we should be able to just do git status. Let's tweak that ignore file just a little bit and change this to be composer.lock. And I'll also set up Shift CI and stuff to get the proper formatting, but this should be formatted correctly based on everything else. But to that point, let's just go back to Blueprint, and I probably want to borrow this get attributes, so let's just drop that in over here as well. And just make sure that, yeah, when I do set up the test passing, all that should be ignored. Editor is ignored, get attributes ignored, the get ignores ignored, all that stuff. Okay, so there is no blueprint file, and there's no PHP lint file either. I guess we should probably bring those things over, so let's just do that. Yeah, that should be good. Okay. Okay, I think that's a proper enough setup for now. So git commit -m, or well, you know what? We're good with everything. Let's just do git status, git commit dash copy registry from blueprint. Git push origin head. Why is access denied? Oh, I haven't accepted my invitation yet. All right, 1 second. We're going to go full screen JMac again. Let me jump into my email and accept my invitation. Where is it? Invited? View invitation? It's interesting. Oh, it's a public repo. That's why it let me clone it. I was like, it's interesting it let me clone it, but no, it's not. All right, that should be that. So we should be able to go back to sharing now. And let's go back and try to do that again. Git push origin head. All right, awesome. So let's go back to Blueprint. And now what the goal is going to be is to now include that package, drop the registry stuff from where we are, and see that all of the original tests still pass. So let's make that happen. So this was all just kind of an in-between step, but what I'm going to do now is kind of forcibly delete that, and then forcibly delete the tests, so there will be no more generator tests there. And we should see some issues, and I'll want to now include shift, or whoops, Laravel shift, what do we call this? Faker registry for now, registry. And that'll just be dev master. And it's not going to know what that is, I don't think. So we'll just make real quickly a repositories section here. And I always forget, I think it's just an array. And then in here I'll say like type is VCS, and is it URL? I think it's URL, in which case it'll just be our Faker registry. So I should just be able to copy that. And I think that's good enough for now until I register it with packages to pull down what we need. So if I do a composer update, we'll let that run in the background, and while that's running, we will go find anywhere we look for Faker registry, and we're just going to need to change that now. Yes. So this is really going to be shift registry, which is already weird. So this lets me know that I probably want to do something like shift/faker and then registry. Because yeah, that's kind of why I wait on that stuff, is it lets me see what it looks like in an actual project. And this makes me feel like it's some kind of shift registry, which is not exactly correct. It's from shift, which is fine, but it really should say something like faker or faker registry or whatever there. So again, I will tweak this in just a sec, but let's keep messing with this. So this is going to be shift and faker, or sorry, I'm doing it again. So shift registry, and you know what? I actually need to call that faker registry so I don't have to change anything else. And I'm okay with that little alias. And let's alias that. And where else do we have it in our code? Anywhere? Okay, that should be it. So it's just in the test generator or the factory generator, I think. We'll find out here in just a sec. Okay, so it should have pulled that in, which means shift should now see it. So when we go there, we see it. Great. And so when we run the test, what happens? Boom, everything still passes. Successful refactor. Okay, I heard some stuff in the chat. Let's see what people are saying. What up, Drew? Okay, good. We are almost at an hour. We're pretty close to where we need to be. Let's go ahead and wrap this up. So git add -p. So obviously once I publish this to Packagist and clean up those names off stream, I will tag that as like a 0.1 or something simple. We probably won't want to end up committing that, but again, I'm going to leave it just so our tests pass when we push this. We've aliased that just to give us a slightly better name down here instead of just generically registry, but that's fine. And then same thing here, we're using this faker registry, and then all that code again is now moved to the shared package, which we'll beef up and clean up over time. But for now, I think that's a decent start where people can come in very easily and say, oh, you know what, a char is, you know, really something else, or oh, if you have like a date time, maybe it should be in the future or something like that. So good opportunity for people to be able to contribute to this and add more names. And again, I'm going to close this issue once this is out there, but to the point, or well, let's finish this one thing at a time here. Git commit -m, use shared faker registry package. Git push origin head, git open, and now we'll go back to this PR. So I'll open this PR just for now, and I'll edit it later so the test can start running. That's weird. I thought that was weird. I got a 404. Strange. GitHub's being strange today. Anyway, the last thing I wanted to say was the split faker generator or generation to registry package. I think there's some opportunity again to go back and use some of this type guesser or whatever. Again, I'll reach it back out to or how do you say that? Naore? Maybe? Naore? So I'll reach back out to him and see, you know, what maybe he's done since, again, because this is about a year old, and we'll beef that registry up again with more stuff. It's going to be very easy for people to be able to add, you know, all sorts of stuff very simply, very simple PRs that can be merged quickly. So I just think it's a nice little touch, again, to kind of break out a package that can truly be a standalone and does have value on its own, even if it might not be used that much. So it just makes it a little bit simpler to manage. So I'll get that registered with Packagist, get all the fancy GitHub actions hooked up so it runs those tests and all sorts, and then I'll finish merging this and tag Blueprint. So thank you all for joining live. Sorry again about the lighting and the headset. Still kind of working out some of those things. If for those of you following me on Twitter, I did order some of those fun Hue LED light strips and overhead lighting. So unfortunately, they are on the delivery truck and we're not here in time. So next week we'll have some cool fancy lighting to show off during the live streams. So again, thanks for watching live and see you all next time.